Good morning, everybody. Well, I didn't get this done last night. It got too stormy, and my dogs were acting kind of crazy in the house with all the thunderstorm and all that kind of stuff is going on. Anyway, so we're doing this morning. And the chickens out there are calling for me, but I'm told them that they're going to have to wait because I got to get something done today. Anyway, this is a Brother, really awesome sewing machine. It's a Brother. Let me look at this one. It's a VX707. It's a very, very, really nice, quiet, very quiet sewing machine. I've never met one so quiet in my entire life. I had to clean it out. The light bulb in it was a night light bulb that it was flashing, means it's getting ready to burn out. So I took it out and put a newer Brother one that's supposed to be for a Brother. This is a night light. You don't want to use these because they're too hot. They get really hot and they actually will melt this thing inside your machine. The ones that are like this one here that I have is actually for a Brother sewing machine. And it doesn't get really hot. It just brightens it up really bright so you can really see what you're doing. Anyway, and but it had a lot of grease. I found a stick in it. Don't ask me why or where in the heck that come from. Thought it was a matchstick, but it wasn't. It was a stick. But it had a lot of dust bunnies and grease, old grease, which would make the machine act a little funny. And but other than that, it runs pretty good. But I still can't figure out where the stick came from. It just kind of like popped out when I was fiddling around. Went, why is there a stick in there? Anyway, I just thought it was kind of strange. But it's a really awesome machine. It has this really cool, like little drawer thing that opens up like this. It has all kinds of good stuff in it. It's easy to take care of. I guess you can pop this out. If I can remember how to do it now. It's like I did it a minute ago. Now I forgot how. But it pops out. Let me see if I can get my finger on it. I mean, it goes like this. And it's on a spiral thing where you can pop it out. And then you can lift this area here where this comes out. This can be pushed back in like that. And then you can use it for like hems and sleeves and things like that. When you're ready to put it back in, this thing you push back here and it pops out. And then you line this up. See that little post? And you line that post back up into there. I can do this with one hand and looking through a camera at the same time. And it slides right in like that. See, it went right in. And then you make sure you get your material out of the way. And then there's a little clip right here. See the clip? And it goes right here. Well, somehow that clip fell off. So I had to re-put the clip back in. But the clip is back in the machine now. And you pop it in like that. And it's really cool. So that's one really cool thing. And this is a bottom feed. It feeds from the bottom. Let's see. This one has a foot pressure controller. It was pushed all the way up, and that means it wouldn't sew correctly. You have to be in the middle if you're going to do denim. If you're going to do like a 4-ply denim, you push that all the way down. But right now I got it on basic cotton. It'll do this kind of denim with no problem because I've been sewing and using it and adjusted it and everything to make it sew even better. This one basically is a straight stitch or zigzag sewing machine. It's just a simple sewing machine. Brother, long time ago, this is actually originally made from Brother. Not from whoever manufactures Brother now, who knows. It used to be Kenmore, but then Kenmore, I guess, completely sold out and went to Janome. So I think Janome does Brother now, which I really don't know anymore. It's kind of funky that way. But this one has a better motor on it. The motor is a lot bigger. It can do a lot more different types of things. What else does it do? Oh yeah, and this is called, and a lot of people didn't know what these are called. These are called dust covers, okay? They're not a case. They're not a case. They fit over top through the handle here and snaps right in. I'll show you how it snaps in. It goes right in the front right here and it snaps in. Those are called dust covers. They keep the dust off the machine because what happens, a lot of machines, people just let them sit out and they fill up with dust and then you have to get them cleaned out. A lot of people don't know that, and that's why when you make a cover, it fits like mine, they fit over top of them, okay? And the whole thing gets covered because ever move them. They stay right there on my table. If people want to store it, dust cover is the best thing to have. My girlfriend says she's never seen such a thing like that before. And I said, oh yeah, they made them. Brother made them. They're the really big thing. They snap on both sides and they hook on and you grab a hold of it. It snaps over on the inside right here. I don't know if you can see the snapping thing. And it snaps in and it holds it. So it doesn't go anywhere. And then later on, they did away with the part where it hooks on to the top like this, but it's just a dust cover. It's kind of like they have different versions of them, but I just want to let people know about them. You know, they're hard to find. If you do find one like in a store or something, and you're like, what is that? Well, it's a dust cover. You can't really put your thread on. You need to take your thread off. And because it's going to fit over top, because the thread can't fit through this little hole right here, okay? It has holes for everything, so it doesn't rub or break off or anything like that. This one doesn't turn on the side here because it's actually active right now, but you turn it on with this little button for the light, okay? A lot of people don't need the light, or they're in a real bright room. You don't have to turn the light on if you can see pretty good. I just have the light on so you can see. I mean, I'm making this like a, I think I got it sewn. So this is sewing like, let me think. Yeah, this is sewing 3-ply. This is sewing 2-ply, and it's going to be on 3-ply when we do a straight stitch. Let's go over it a little bit. Okay, here's how you thread it. You thread it from the back side, so the thread comes from the back. Because on the older spools had a little chink in it, and if you run it the other way, it always gets caught. So that's why they always say run it from the back. And you go from the back, and then you go through this little hook up right here. You come down through this little hole here, and then up down through this way. You make sure your foot is in the highest position. It releases the inside of here. See how loose that is now? And then you can hook it into the little, I call them cymbals, musical cymbals, and you hook them between that, and then you pull down and pull up, and then you hook it into this little hookup into the uptake. Right here's your uptake. Down the uptake into a hook system right here, down into this hook system here, and a hook system right here, and into the needle. Yes, I have my needle down. I always have my needle down because I'm always not going to been working and I got dust already because I was leaving it sit out without the dust cover. Anyway, so and then when you're done threading it and you thread the bottom in, then you just go like this and it's ready to be sewing. If you need to make a bobbin, you go from this side here, but you swirl around this way. And then you take your bobbin and you thread it through the bobbin and then back out of the bobbin, and it goes into this little spot, and then you click this over. Sometimes it disengages the sewing machine, or you have to loosen up a screw right here, and then don't take the screw out. Those are hard to replace because you won't be able to engage your sewing machine. And you turn it, like towards you, and that will disengage the sewing machine. Now, sometimes you can run a sewing machine, but this one doesn't have, I don't think it has another holder for your thread, but you can put it on the floor and do the same thing about rewinding. Anyway, and you can rewind and sew. Or a lot of people do disengage the sewing machine, and that way it will, not only run this, not the sewing machine. So I have this sewing machine. Now, the way this one works here is, I have it setting on between a 2 and a 3 because there's a little point, some of these older machines don't have an actual marker, but I always say that if the machine is like this way is where it's really sitting at. A lot of people say, well, doesn't that mean the top? No, it usually means it's over this way. Okay, so don't freak out if you're thinking, oh man, I'm doing this wrong. When you're ready to move this, make sure your needle's in the highest position, and this has got to be down, so it'll click in, because there's little, I don't know if you can ever explain it. I mean, someday I'm going to tear one apart and show everybody. But there's little clickers in there, and it has to click in, okay? When the foot is up, and when it won't click in correctly, and then when you put it down, it'll be messed up, and it won't run right. I always say put the needle in the highest position, and that's meaning this needle has to be in the highest position. It'll look just like this. The uptake will be high and the needle will be high. I mean, that's the way it works. And then you can click it in, okay? But it's a really nice sewing machine. I have it set for right before basting. This is a basting stitch. This is not. So, you know, it shows you basting stitch, then you got your basic stitching, and then you got your fine, you know, rule is fine stitching, and then when you just don't want to, like you want to make your own buttonhole, you just hold it in place and it'll just do a real tight zigzag for whatever you want to do your zigzags. Anyway, let me see where that foot pedal went to, because I just got done plugging it in. Oh, there you are, and I'm going to let you see it when I run it. All right, my foot on my foot pedal, and now we're going to hear it and listen to it and see how it sounds. Like I said, it's a very, very quiet sewing machine. This is your reverse. You push this little guy in, and the machine will reverse. And then you let it go like that. 'Cause a lot of people ask me, where's the reverse? Well, that's your reverse. And then goes forward again. And we're going to go through it a little bit like this so you can see it. All right, now see it in highest position. Needle's in the highest position. That's where I stopped it, and the uptake's high. Okay, that's how you know you can change your, but you want to put that part down. But anyway, there's your there's what we were sewing, kind of sewing on the line. And then you go on this side. I know, I for sure forgot to cut my strings. I always tell people, cut your strings so they don't get sucked down the machine. And here I am, never cut my strings. But anyway, I used a green. I don't know if you can see the green or not, but we stitched right there. I'm a bad girl for forgetting to do that, because, you know, sometimes, well, this machine won't because of the way it's made, but some of the newer ones, if you don't cut those threads, what will happen is it sucks it down into the sewing machine and gets caught on everything in the sewing machine. It's like, oh, and mostly this one's mostly done in all steel parts. There's plastic parts on the outside, but it's mostly steel on the inside, which is very hard to find things like that nowadays. Anyway, so let's just do a basting stitch. So we're going to go over here and we're going to move this over so we can show you the bigger stitch. Because some people don't always use basting stitch. You can use basic stitch, but if you back it up like this, we'll back it up and release that and go like this, you can actually use it for actual stitching for denim. You know what I mean? So you can see how wide it is. A lot of people ask me, how wide is it? We want to know. And I'm like, well, you know, I can show you, but there's the width of it. You know, it shows you it's kind of big. And everybody asks me, like, you know, people say to me all the time, so, well, how did they know about per inch? Well, you take an inch, you know, from here's a little inch here. And from the starting point to this part, you count how many stitches, not how many stitches it does within an inch. So a lot of people always ask me that. And I says, you know, do you know what that really means? And they like, no, we just heard that it's supposed to be something that we should know about. And I said, okay. Well, it means that you take 1 inch and you count how many stitches it does in an inch. Now, my industrial sewing machine, if I make it real wide, I can actually do like 5 stitches in an inch. Okay, now this one's going to be more because, you know, within an inch, you know, say like, you know, finger and a half, so like about here, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It does 8 stitches in an inch. So a lot of people like to know how many stitches it does, and it kind of tells them, you know, how good the sewing machine is. Mine is, because it's an industrial sewing machine, can make a wider stitch to be different. And then you can learn how to tap your foot, so you can teach yourself how to put your foot down, how to put your needle down, how to put your needle up. But it's a very nice but very quiet sewing machine. You can do basic stitching. Don't be afraid of it. A lot of people get so afraid of like learning how to use a sewing machine. There's nothing much hard to do a sewing machine to do one. Now let's see here. We got the needle in the highest position. So you make sure the needle is in the highest position before you turn anything, because the needle will move. See here, I'm getting ready to turn it. Okay, you'll see the needle, it'll move. Well, this one doesn't. Well, that's amazing. I'm in shock, because some of them do. The newer ones do. They move. So you want the needle in the highest position. So this one doesn't. Wow, that is so cool, isn't it? I've never seen one like that before. Most of the time they always move. This one engages itself from within. That's interesting. Now they can reverse in a zigzag too. A lot of people always ask me that. And then so this one only can basically do your zigzag or your straight stitch. So here's your zigzag on this side. Yep, stitching beautifully. And I just want to make sure people know. Now let's go ahead and move it back. It's amazing. Oh, it does move. Okay. So when I did this, it does move. You see it moving slowly. That's what it's doing. Okay, so when you make sure the needle's high, you don't want to break it. So I'm going to put it back down. Put it back at the center. And now it's back in the straight stitch. Okay, I'm going to get this to end so we can make sure the needle's down. You want the hub to stay down. This is a hub. If it doesn't stay down and you go move or it falls or whatever and this hub ain't down, you actually can break this. So I always tell people, put it down with the needle and that way it won't break so easily. Other than that, you know, if I had to get a sewing machine, I would get one of these. If you see one on sale somewhere, consignment store, or a thrift shop or something like that, and they're selling it pretty darn cheap, then, you know, make sure it runs. Make sure this part goes up and down. If it doesn't, and you live close by me, you can always bring it around, and I can see what I can do to help you. I just charge a small fee that helps me out in my garden with my chickens and stuff. That's why you see a lot of gardens and chickens and stuff, is because people support me by bringing their sewing machines to me, even though they might live way out of state. They do a vacation and come out here, want to know what they can go see and do, and I give them a list of stuff that they can go see and do. And then they go hang out for about a week, and then I get their sewing machine back to them after I'm done fixing it, getting it repaired, or if there's something major going wrong with it and I can't get it fixed or repaired or I can't find the part for it, then I'll just tell them, well, I don't know what to tell you, and this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. So, but most of the time, I get most of the sewing machines up and running. I think if you take it from 100 sewing machines, I probably get like maybe 5 that I cannot get parts for. I tried looking and I just can't locate parts, but most of the sewing machines are given right back to the people and they're running beautifully. So anyway, I just want to let you know about this sewing machine. And if this is the person that's going to get the sewing machine, the lady wanted it fixed to give it to someone, I guess, in the family. And I told her it's running great. I just needed the right pedal. You didn't bring me the right pedal. And I have a pedal that worked and it worked fine, but I wanted to make sure her pedal is working correctly too, because sometimes those burn out. You know, people don't believe me, but they do burn out. A little electron can actually burn out of them and then you have to replace them. So I told her, let's go ahead and just bring it to me. Then I'll run it with this machine when I do the video. And if it's running great, then it's running great. I'll just get it cleaned up for her and get it back to her. Anyway, have a blessed day. And I just wanted you guys to see the really cool sewing machine that I got a chance to work on. Okay? Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.